So here we go. 5-point agent attraction strategy. Number 1, make a list of at least 100 other estate agents. Okay, so you say, no, but my goal is I need to have 2 people there on the 25th. That's fine. So if you want 2 people, what's my suggestion to you? Make a list of at least 100 other estate agents. That's my suggestion to you. Let me tell you, one of the most powerful things when you are getting into the zone now, you're going to make your phone calls to invite people, is to have a big list of agents with all their contact details right in front of you so that you know, man, if this person is not available or they say no, next one. You got to have a list. I heard a talk given by, I think it was Brent Gove or one of the guys who's got like tens of thousands of people in his network. And they asked a whole bunch of the top recruiters in EXP, what is the one thing you would have done differently if you can go back? And you know what they all said? They all had the same answer. They said, I would have spent more time making my list when I joined. I tell you, the longer I'm in this business, the more I realize one of the reasons I've succeeded to the point that I have, whatever success I have had, is because I've got a big list and it's written. In fact, I'll show it to you. I'm going to open my list and I'm going to show it to you guys so that you know I'm not blowing smoke. That's everyone who's joined me on my first tier. Then these are the people that I'm currently following up with. So I've shown them the opportunity and they've not said no to me. In fact, this guy joined this morning, Andre, but they're still checking it out. Here's my notes on all of them. So I know when I phone them and I speak to them when I'm supposed to speak to them next. Okay. Then this little section here is my live list. These are the next people I'm going to be phoning. Okay. All of these people who have done my training or whatever. Long list of those that I can still phone. Long list of those I can still phone. Then here are people that I've shown who've kind of gone cold, but I'm keeping in touch with them. So they get like a monthly WhatsApp from me or a monthly email. There's a whole bunch of them that I've shown. You're getting the picture, guys? I have shown this thing to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. I've worked incredibly hard to be where I am now. Look at all these people. Then, all the reds. These are people who've told me to get lost. These are people who said no to me. No. That's a lot of rejection. But that's the name of the game. Massive action. Okay, so you got to have a list. Make a list of at least 100 other agents. If you've been in real estate for any amount of time, you can do that. You've worked with other agents. There's people you've met. Anybody who that if you would have phoned and say, hey, it's Robin Duggan speaking, they would know who they were speaking to. Okay, it doesn't have to be a close friend. Make a list. I hope I've made that point, guys. And if you sit down, okay, well, I've got about three or 5 or 10 people in my mind, and I'm going to phone them today. I'm telling you, you're not going to get anywhere. Make a list. Number 2, time block. A couple of 2 to 3 hour sessions to make your invitation phone calls. If you don't actually block time out of your diary, this is never going to happen because it takes time. You've got your list, you start phoning. The first 3 phone calls you make, you don't get a hold of the person. They don't answer their phone. Then the next one answers their phone, they're busy. Then the next one. It takes time to do this. And if you think you're just going to fit it in between everything else you're doing, I mean, you know what it's like. All the urgent matters of the day, just squash out anything you don't actually block out time for. So my suggestion to you would be you've got 2 weeks. Pick a number of days. Maybe you're going to do 1 day and you're going to take 3 hours. And you're going to make sure you get your people booked in that time. Maybe you've got a bigger goal. Like Jade, you've got like an 083, 325, 2783 goal. So then you're going to need a couple of times blocked out of your diary.
I want to go to Vegas, Stephen.
Come on, Jade, you and me, China. Let's do it. Okay, so time block, and while you're listening to me drone on today, why don't you grab your diary on your phone, hopefully, or if you're still old school and you got a paper diary, why don't you do that now? Block out some time. Like, do it on a Friday afternoon between 2 and 5. Jessica, are you waving at me, or are you... What happened there? Did you want to say something?
It was a fly.
Oh. That was like the Queen swatting a fly. Okay, enough of that. Idle banter. Number 3. Use a scripted dialogue on your phone calls. Okay, you say, Stephen, do you use a scripted dialogue? Yes, I do. There it is there. I've scratched it out some of the time and I've changed a couple of the words I use. This thing is stuck to my second screen. It's right in front of me. I make my phone calls. I've said this thing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Okay? I believe in using scripts and dialogues. They work. So, what do I suggest you say on the phone call? Here's what I suggest you say. I know this works. You say, Stephen, I don't like it. I don't care if you like it or not. It works. Just use it. So here's the phone call. How's it, James? Steve Johnston speaking. Hope you're well. Listen, I can't talk long, but I want to ask you to take a look at something with me. I don't know if you knew this, but NRG recently began working with a global real estate company, which I think is going to transform how the industry works here in South Africa, especially how agents are being compensated, or how agents like us are compensated is what you'd say. We're working with Steve Johnston, who's been tremendously successful in the space, and I think he's onto something very big. So, on the evening of Thursday, the 25th of November, we're hosting Steve at a private training event, and I'd love you to join us as my guest. If I could, would you? This is one of the most powerful sales techniques on the planet. If I could, would you? It sets up a reciprocal it plugs into, it hooks onto like this thing that we know exists in the human mind of reciprocity. If I do something, you do something. If I could get you an invite to attend the event, would you be willing to come along and give me your feedback? That's the script you use. Now off you go. Go and get it. It's really as simple as that. Make 100 phone calls. Use that script. I'm telling you, you're going to get 30, 40 people there if you make 100 phone calls with that script, if not more. In fact, I can tell you, I have a 98% appointment ratio with this script. Okay, let's have a look at it again.
We've only got space for 80. So we have to divide up the space. We could get the rooms next door as well, I guess.
James, that's a good problem to have. We'll solve that on the night. So, hey, John. It's James speaking. Hope you're well. Listen, I can't talk long, but I want to ask you to take a look at something with me. I don't know if you knew this, but NRG recently began working with a global real estate company, which I think is going to transform how the real estate industry works here in South Africa, especially how agents like us are compensated. We're working with Steve Johnston, who's been tremendously successful in the space, and I think he's onto something very big. So, on the evening of Thursday, the 25th of November, we're hosting Steve at a private training event, and I'd love you to join us as my guest. If I could get you an invite to attend the event, would you be willing to come along and give me your feedback? That's it. Okay. Don't get drawn into answering questions. Okay, the strong personalitied people, which are the right people, by the way, are going to say to you, oh, what's it about? Tell me more about it. Okay, here's what you say. I'm going to leave it to him to explain. Just trust me for now. You're not going to want to miss it. If I can get you an invite, will you make it? Okay, so you take control of the conversation by asking a question. If I could, will you? If I can get you an invite, will you make it? Then email the link or the details for the meeting. Okay, so there's that PDF that I showed you an image of earlier, this one, this PDF. James can send that to you via WhatsApp. Just keep it on your phone and just WhatsApp the PDF to everybody who says yes. Okay. Then my last point there says confirm lots of times. I'm going to let you make your own decisions about what that means. But I can tell you now, man, if you just book an appointment with someone and then you arrive at, on the Google meeting or at the event or whatever the details are, if you haven't confirmed, like 8 out of 10 people just don't pitch. So with my appointments, I'll tell you what I do. The day before the appointment, I send a WhatsApp to them like the sort of evening before saying, hey, James, looking forward to seeing you at 10 tomorrow. Boom, send that off. That morning, I send another. Hey, can't wait to see you later this morning. So I confirm twice, the day before and the morning of. So I would just suggest you take that in hand. Next, so that was point number 3. Use a scripted dialogue on the calls. Okay, so let's just go through it again. Make a list. Don't shortcut the process. Make a written list of at least 100 other agents. Then time block some time over the next 2 weeks where you're going to make the phone calls and do your invitations. Number 3, use the script on your phone calls. Number 4, keep calling until you have double your goal number confirmed to attend. So let's say you want 5 other agents there. You're going to need 10 saying, cool, sounds good, I'm in. Because I'm telling you, on the day, half of them are going to cancel. And that's just normal. Don't get disappointed when it happens. It's absolutely normal. It happens every time. So keep calling until you've got double your goal number. And then lastly, after the event, book a 3-way follow-up meeting. I'm going to talk about what that is in a second. With each of your guests. Obviously, if they're not interested, then you're not going to book a 3-way. But as long as there's some kind of interest to learn more, you're going to book a 3-way follow-up meeting and then send them the follow-up resources link. So you've now booked on the evening, before they leave, on that Thursday evening. You have got your diary and you've got James's diary if he's going to do the 3-way meeting with you, or I'm going to be there for the next 2 days, or at least 2 or 3 days. I'm going to be in George. So in PE, I'm coming from George to PE. I'm going to be in PE for at least the next 2 or 3 days. And I'll stay as long as we want. I can actually delay my departure if you've got lots of meetings booked. James, I think we're actually going to need, now that I'm thinking through this, I think we're going to need someone to control a central diary. I mean, that makes sense. So I can actually say to people at the end of the presentation, or you can when you thank everyone for coming, saying, hey guys, if you are interested in discussing this further with us, Stephen is going to be in PE for the next few days. Linda is managing a schedule of follow-up meetings with Stephen. Please see Linda at the back of the room. And then each of you guys, you can take your prospects by the hand and lead them to Linda and say, let's book a follow-up meeting with Stephen now. And then hopefully before that evening concludes, sorry, James, Linda has actually filled up our diary with follow-up meetings already before they leave the venue. Because if you do it after they leave the venue, things go cold, it falls apart. Sorry, James.
No, it's a great idea. And I think if Linda's comfortable with that, which I'm sure she will be, we will also have 1 or 2 other members of the team there, like from the rental department, who obviously won't be not necessarily bringing guests, who can help with the bookings so it doesn't get overcrowded with Linda, etc. But yeah, great idea to get the interest, keep the interest.
Okay, so I mean, I will prompt that at the end of my presentation. That what is the next step? The next step is for you to book a 3-way call, or 3-way meeting, or a 4-way meeting with me, the person who invited you here today, and James. The 4 of us need to sit down and talk about the strategy with you. So they'll know what the next step is. It'll be an easy appointment for you to then go and book. Once that appointment is booked, I will also tell everyone you need to do some homework. Now, you're going to help them do that homework by emailing them that link that you see on the screen. Okay, so just write that down if you need to. themodelexplained.co.za/exp-resources. If you need to, just take a photograph with your phone of that slide on the screen. That's the link you're going to send everyone afterwards. Because, why? Guys, this is very important. If we do a follow-up meeting with someone who's come to the initial presentation, it's piqued their interest, a day later, 2 days later, we do a follow-up meeting with them. If in that 2 days, they have gone to that page and they have now got sucked into watching some of the videos, because it's quite addictive. You watch one, then you want to watch another one, you watch another one. I'm telling you, by the time they come to the follow-up meeting, the job is just about done by the follow-up resources themselves. We want people to do their homework on this thing. If this is as good as we say it is, then the research will bear that out. We must not be afraid of people doing research, of Googling the thing. So, email them this to say, we're going to email you the link, or we're going to WhatsApp you this link with a whole bunch of resources we put together that'll be helpful. Okay, I'm going to show you what that page looks like.
Steve, just a quick one,
yeah.
And you're probably going to get to it, but once we've done that and recommended the resource page for them to go and do their research, which is incredible, I've done it, are there some over others that you would recommend that we could actually guide them towards in terms of viewing?
You know, James, I think it's so person specific. You know, if they're a kind of almost like a leader within the industry, and maybe they've got a team under them, maybe they're just a highly analytical, like maybe they were an accountant before, then this one here is the one to send them to. That's the Frederick presentation. You know, he had 6,000 agents in his EXP offices, and he moved the whole lot across. I don't know how many of the 6,000 came with him, but he sold his Keller Williamses and he moved to EXP. And this is an explanation of why he did that. But he was an accountant, so this is like a very level-headed presentation. But you may have like an amazing lady, and you might want the lady to hear a female voice. So then, you know, click on this one. This is Brent Gove's. Let me click on it. This opens a YouTube playlist of Brent Gove's Cabo event last year. And this, as you'll see, is just a bunch of short 20-minute testimonies. That's what these are. They're just people's stories. Go and find, like, Tina Call is a great one. Veronica Figueroa is a great one. You know, if you know that someone's like an athlete, you can find someone who's athletic in here. So I don't think there's a short answer to your question, James. It's trying to like match people with who's going to connect with them, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with that. I love those Cabo stories, and I also enjoy Frederick's from an analytical side, because obviously I was making a big decision. But there's a few Cabo stories in there, some rags to riches stories, already successful agents coming across, some super successful agents and why they came across. And those, you'll find the storytelling part of that connects with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that database is great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very compelling. Storytelling is an amazing way to sell. And this basically does the work for you. So that's why I've put this at the top of the screen, because I think if someone clicks on that and they watch the first one, and then that was pretty good, and they watch the second one, you know, there's enough of them there that just by the time they've got through the whole thing, man, I mean, they'll be far more positive. That's good. Jason Guessing, if somebody wants to know about the leadership of the business, you know, they're sort of concerned about who's leading the business, you know, this is good. Jason Guessing is a highly not convincing in the sales sense, but he's an incredibly good communicator. In fact, one of the reasons I loved EXP, or when I joined it when I did, was I listened to Jason Guessing speak, and when I heard him speak, I said, this guy's the real deal. This is a very well-led business. This is another Brent Gove thing. If you've got Remax agents, this is an excellent one to show. A lot of people know Ricky Carruth because he's got the 0 to Diamond free coaching thing. I'm sure a lot of you guys follow Ricky Carruth. He was the top Remax agent in Alabama and moved across to EXP. And he has a little 15-minute talk that he gave in EXP World, in fact. So you check his little avatar there, talking about why he moved to EXP from Remax. So again, it might depend on which company the person's with, what you're going to send them to. The revenue share calculator, if someone's really interested in the agent attraction, show them this little video. That's that Excel spreadsheet where I show how much money you can make. I've done a little exhibition there. Okay, so that's what that final point is. After the event, book a 3-way follow-up meeting with Linda, whoever's managing it that night, and then send that link, the follow-up resources. And then, guys, we'll hold your hand from that point onwards. If you've got someone who wants to join, we'll hold your hand through the process. We've got an onboarding course. Hopefully all of you have registered for that by now, which they will also have access to. That gives them all of my training for free. So we'll hold your hand through the process from there. This is what you need to focus on. Okay, so let's go through the 5 again, and then I'm done. Number 1, make a list of at least 100 other agents, a written list. Number 2, time block some sessions between now and the 25th to make your calls. Number 3, use that scripted dialogue on your phone calls. Don't get drawn into answering questions. Number 4, keep calling, keep booking people in until you've got double your goal number that say they're coming. After the event, book your 3-way meetings and email or WhatsApp them that link for the follow-up resources. That's our 5-point proven strategy for agent attraction. God bless you guys. James.
Steve, that was fantastic. Thank you. It's incredible, and it's not complicated. So this uncomplicated approach is simple, and we all know what to do now.